Today, I'm sitting down with Eric Muller, engineering manager at Q-PAC, a leader in the design and manufacturing of commercial HVAC fan systems. And we're here to discuss the differences between a fan frame and a bulkhead wall. We will also explore how the Q-PAC multi-motor plenum fan is supported and sealed inside an air handler and the advantages that design offers. To start with, Eric, can you explain what a bulkhead wall in an air handling unit is and what it does compared to a standard fan frame in an MPF?
Yeah, so a bulkhead wall or a pressure wall, it's typically a sheet metal wall that creates a seal between the upstream and the downstream sections of an air handler with reference to the fan. So if there's a single centrifugal fan, for example, there's usually a hole in the bulkhead wall where the outlet of the fan housing or the frame is connected to via a flexible duct connector. So traditionally, the bulkhead wall and the fan frame are viewed as totally different components. Until Q-PAC's multi-motor plenum fan, the frame of a fan would never expand to the total cross-section of the air handler. So when retrofitting a failed fan, for example, it was expected that a new fan would arrive, it'd be installed, and a custom field-installed sheet metal structure would be made to fit the new outlet or to fill gaps outside of the fan. This means added scope to whoever's installing, more custom sheet metal work, and at the end of the day, more risk. So Q-PAC's fan frame is unique because it isn't just a bulkhead wall, it's the integral structure to our fan's functionality. It removes custom sheet metal structures and costly structural scope. It may serve some of the base functions as a traditional bulkhead or pressure wall, but there's a lot more added value once it becomes part of the fan.
That really highlights how your frame is more than just a divider in the air handler. What drove the decision to separate the idea of a fan frame from a bulkhead wall or pressure wall? And how does the structure of the fan frame impact demolition and installation when replacing or installing an air handler fan? Also, what is the impact of this for different stakeholders like the installing contractor and facility manager?
So the terms like bulkhead and pressure wall, they carry a lot of assumptions. A lot of times it's custom fabrication, expanded installation scope, patchwork, and random screws. Q-PAC was approaching this differently. The sheet metal panels that are part of the multi-motor plenum fan frame, they needed pre-punched holes for routing harnesses, for example, and specific bends for structural rigidity. Had to be perfectly sized to make sure it lasted for years. It's because of those things that we consider it more than a bulkhead wall. The modular approach to the frame design makes it easy to install and take apart. No special tools, no trimming or plasma cutters needed. They install left to right one way and get removed the opposite way. So the impact is less time for install and demolition and less complexity for the customer and installing crews.
So you're essentially turning what used to be custom sheet metal into a repeatable plug and play structure. With the Q-PAC MPF, do contractors still need to build a separate bulkhead or pressure wall? And how is the MPF actually supported and sealed inside the air handler?
So there might be cases where an air handler isn't totally square or where the ordered MPF frame is smaller than the total cross section. In these cases, a field fabricated bulkhead wall may be required. But it's important to take measurements correctly when sizing the fan to make sure you don't end up in this situation when you weren't prepared for it. So as default, our product ships with perimeter angles that provide a mounting flange for our frame, and it's sized based on the internal air handling unit dimensions.
That's very helpful context for retrofits, Eric, where the casing isn't perfectly square or consistent. From an engineer or contractor's perspective, what are the main advantages of using the Q-PAC MPF architecture instead of a legacy blower or fan array with a separate bulkhead wall?
So when it comes to Q-PAC's MPF, the main advantage is having the airflow reliability of a fan array with the control simplicity of a single motor. We've designed our product to operate like a single device with a single point of connection. So that's one 0 to 10 speed signal, but without drawbacks of complex arrays. So the MPF covers the scope that fan arrays don't. Pluggable and pre-configured electrical connections, pre-punched holes for installation, and full air handler cross-sectional coverage. Our product also comes with multiple options for control depending on what's already in place on your air handler.
So engineers are getting array level reliability without having to manage a whole bank of drives and signals. Are there any other advantages for engineers or contractors when considering fan selection?
So Q-PAC's fan frame has a lot of benefits for a contractor or an installer. The main benefit is that it's covering extra scope that a traditional fan replacement wouldn't usually cover. If a fan fails and you get an exact replacement, it's not going to come with a bulkhead wall, a pressure wall, or a fan frame that covers the entire cross section of the air handler. The Q-PAC MPF covers the scope that other fans won't. So it's not only the electrical or the control scope, it's also the full structural scope, and it makes it super simple to integrate into the air handler.
To wrap things up, what are some tips and tricks to understand when speccing and ordering a fan frame?
Well, the most important piece is going to be the sizing. Making sure that you're measuring the internal width and height at the desired installation location is key. Don't assume that the cross section of the air handler stays the same all the way through. You also want to keep in mind the distance to other components in the air handler, like coils or filters that'll be upstream or downstream. We outline many of these installation tips in our product handbook, but other than that, if you run into a case where you're unsure if Q-PAC will work for you, you should reach out. We have a dedicated team that is here to help you find a solution.
Thank you, Eric, for sharing your expertise on bulkhead walls and fan frames. For more information on Q-PAC's commercial HVAC fan solutions, please visit www.q-pac.com.